Welcome back to the 55. I've got some thinking to do. Now, these aren't the real valve covers. The real valve covers are the old school Mickey Thompsons. Now, currently, they have one PVC knocked out on one cover and one twist cap knocked out on the other cover. It does have the spot to do the other PVC knockout. Plus, don't forget, we also have a crankcase vent there as well. There's so much conflicting information on the internet about running PVC with the blower, and we're not going crazy boost, but still, you worry about detonation issues. What we're really considering is one of two things. One, a breather tank, that would be mounted here, or honestly probably here, have a breather on it and run from each cover, balance itself out, and that way pressure can get out, or air, if it's needed, can get in. The other thing we're really thinking about is taking the crankcase vent, running that through a separator, and running that into PVC just to provide light vacuum through a PVC valve. So that's what we're thinking there. Now, this tank, when you look in here, could mount here. It's going to have to be higher than the valve cover, but you can see we've got quite a bit of room in a Tri-5 fender over here. So with some dash 12 hose coming from both the PVC fittings to that as our breather assembly for air admittance or pressure escape, that could work. And then mount the separator on the firewall somewhere or towards the back, and then go up above the rotors for providing a light vacuum on the crankcase to keep from pushing anything into seals, pushing things out the rear main, having problems with leaky gaskets. The biggest problem I always have, if you just put those little breathers in there, is you always get a mist and everything's always oily. Yeah, like these things. And one of the problems we have is, of course, our Mickey Thompson cast covers, which are old and have been redone, don't have any baffling for the PVC at all. So we're going to have to make that. Or because of where it's located, it's going to be right over a freaking rocker, and we're just going to suck oil out. So those are the things that we gotta talk about and discuss today. I heard Harlan come in, so it is handy having a spare car to look at. So, okay, that's part of what today's discussion is. Okay, so one of the other things we were looking at is getting our linkage in here. We just played with another piece. It looks like 2 foot is going to be a good length to get us into this ballpark here. And then coming under here, that's going to mean we're coming through, in here-ish somewhere. This, because we don't have it, isn't going to work. But there are other versions that have a bracket that can bolt here, and then they even make spacer blocks. So I'm pretty confident that we're going to be able to find somewhere that makes sense in here. So when we place it, we'll just set a seat in here real quick. Get a feel for where your foot feels natural between that and the brake, and then we'll go with that. So I'm assuming every one of these holes we could have welded up, because we don't need those. We have no idea what these two are. This is the old way they did the dimmer switch. Obviously we won't be using that. We'll use a modern dimmer switch. So yeah, there's still a bunch of holes that could have gone. The problem is sometimes you lose some holes that you really wish you'd have kept. But at least, since we've had that way past return date, now we know. So when we do the 57, we just won't eliminate that pass through. We'll think about that. So we can reuse it, and the black pedals will still look pretty good in that car as well. So just more stuff in a parts list. These new bolts came in. Look how much nicer that is. So we got those down. It's funny, anytime you want something that looks nice and is a weird length, You're paying between $4 and $10 a bolt. Is what it is. Great. Next thing we're going to do is go ahead and fit the accessory drive on here, and then pull the pulley that one for polishing and pull the idler for polishing, because we want them to look more like that. But we had so many of these, we didn't want to polish all of them. So we'll make that all shiny, make that all shiny. It'll look pretty good. And then because we're tired of looking for things we've lost, we just got everything screwed back on for now. Currently on the hunt for the shop vac, because luckily when we were about to put the thermostat in, we remembered we don't actually have a spot for the sender for the Dakota. So we've located a point, and we're going to go ahead and drill it for that and tap it up. So gotta do it. We're getting ready to tap it, but you can see that is a nice thick piece of material there. So this is gonna work perfect. As you can see, with a little care, we now have both sensors. Same location, so they should read within a degree of each other. So we'll get that thermostat installed. And we're slowly remembering where everything is. We're not gonna put this cap on yet. But he just went back to go get the power steering pump, and we'll try to get that sorted out. It always takes a few minutes to remember something you did a while back. The other thing is we got to find these two belts. Getting that off isn't fun. It was cheaper to just buy a new one than to get a rebuild kit. So we got it swapped over onto that, and we have a shiny cap. You won't be able to see that, so we're not even going to monkey with that. But we're slowly getting all this remembered, and we just remembered that there's a spacer down there, only we have no idea where it is. So gotta play that game too. Okay, took a little doing, but now, and the instructions do call for 2 washers here, 1 washer back here, you know, between the brackets, which must help create the pivot points on the slide points. And then it calls for a 52 mil spacer on that bottom one, but we had to go to a 455 mil spacer to get everything to line up properly. But now you can see that's definitely pitched correctly, and that's a good length on the belt. We just got to find one that actually fits the grooves a little better. And now we're going to go look for a belt for the alternator. Okay, we've got part numbers for what we're going to order for belts. We actually like this length, so we're going to order a 7470, not a 17. We don't want this width. And we really do already like this belt, the 7560, but it's a little long. So we're just going to order one 1/2 inch shorter and one 1 inch shorter, and see which one we like the fit on. I really like things to be mid-range if possible. Gives you the most freedom. I think we're going to try to find some more of these little button heads too, put on there. It'll look a little nicer. And then I know the pulleys are off, but threw the belt on to show that it does clear. You know, I know we showed that in a previous video, but gotta check, gotta show everybody. So, seems crazy, but it's already 10:15. Don't know where today went. Every day seems to go so fast as you get older. But yeah, I know we played this game once before. Now we're doing it for real. And yeah, you can see that belt alignment's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. I don't think we'll have any noise or throw any belts. So it's one of the things I'm super sensitive to. It drives me crazy when belts squeak. I will spend a stupid amount of money to stop that. So, alright. Who knows, maybe next time we'll play with the valve covers a little too and make sure that we're still happy with our clearance. So, alright. Thanks for watching. ShopRex has to remember, safety first.